as a tripod. Bonjour, je m'appelle Dora from Luxembourg. Woohoo! So it's morning. I'm having my breakfast, and now my couple of previous lives, like I feel like I've been here for quite a few days, and I've only been here, this is my second day. So I've officially only been here for like 24 hours. And so yesterday morning, I went on a supermarket haul basically to get some breakfast because I didn't want to pay €18 for the breakfast at the hotel. So I spent €30 at the supermarket. But hear me out. I'm now eating the breakfast from that supermarket haul. So it's just saved me another €18. So €18 and €18, I spent more money. Would have spent more money. So bargain. And then I also did a picnic and all these other things yesterday with the food that I bought from the supermarket haul. So I just wanted to update my Luxembourg diaries while I have my breakfast, have a cup of tea, have a couple of teas, because you know the good thing about Luxembourg is that there are toilets in places and they're clean. There's toilet paper. Love that. Isn't it weird that that's what I'm talking about? Toilets. Look, oh, that light is in my face. It's kind of annoying me. There we go. So I know it's weird, but I am going to sit here and have breakfast. Now I've got a Greek yogurt. No idea where I got it from. I mean, like, it's not Belgium. I know it's Belgium. Not even in Belgium. It's not fine. I didn't buy it because it was from Luxembourg or anything like that. I just wanted some Greek yogurt. You know, when you're traveling, your stomach can get like, you know, it's just not used to the food that you eat. So trying to neutralize it and make it all happy. Not that there's anything wrong with my stomach, mind you. It's just that I'm just trying to look after it. So I've still got my leftover muesli bar from yesterday. I'm chucking that in there to have a bit of roughage, you know. Just good to keep yourself regular. Can't believe I'm doing a live and just talking about my toilet episodes, but anyway, that just seems to be what I do. So, oh my God, Luxembourg. I don't know, I've never thought about coming. Like, I mean, obviously I wouldn't fly from Australia all the way out to Luxembourg for a trip. But after a couple of days here, maybe I'd change my mind about that. But like 25 years ago, young Dora, when she first started backpacking, came to Europe for the first time, and I didn't come to Luxembourg. I don't know why. I hit all the countries around it. Like, you've got Belgium, you've got Germany, you've got France. So they speak 3 different languages. They speak French, parlez-vous English. They speak German. Don't know how to say, can you speak English in German? And they speak English. So yeah, and they're quite, I mean, I'm sure they probably speak Finnish, you know, like the Belgium language too, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, look, it's funny coming from Australia where, you know, English is our first language, naturally. You know, I feel kind of stupid that, okay, I might have learned English for 1 year or 6 months in grade 8. I didn't continue it on. Just putting some blueberries in my yogurt. And then I'm putting some raspberries. I love berries. Love berries. It's so good for you too. And these little things. Still haven't really discovered what they are, but they're so cute. So we're going to put a couple of those in there too, or a couple more. They're like, I don't know what they're like. They're sweet, like me. So I see there's 3 people online. Hi, I'm Dora from Australia, and I am having breakfast while I tell you about my first day sightseeing in Luxembourg. Luxembourg is my 62nd country, and I say that, how do I say that? Sometimes I feel like I'm a sport brat because, 62 countries, there's a lot of countries to see. But at the same time, if you know me and you've started following me, I'm a backpacker at heart. I am a tight ass. I will not, I'm not staying at big fancy restaurants. I'm not staying in fancy hotels. I try to, save my money and do all the cheaper things. Like, for example, instead of having the hotel breakfast, I am having some yogurt with some muesli that I brought with me from Australia. Having tea bags that I brought with me from Australia. I didn't have a jug in my room. I asked the hotel if they had a jug. They brought me a jug. And they brought me a green tea bag. Might have that tonight. I have a fridge in my room, so I was able to buy some groceries, to have my breakfast, and to make baguettes. So being that Luxembourg is next to France, croissants and baguettes are freely available. Well, they're not free, but you can buy them. So that cuts down on my expense because I don't have to go buy lunch. So Luxembourg is quite expensive. Luxembourg is actually, I Googled this yesterday, Luxembourg is like the highest GDP, gross domestic product, in the world, followed by Singapore and then Ireland and then Macau. Now, I was really quite surprised about Ireland. I didn't actually realise Ireland was quite high up in the GDP. So Luxembourg's main product is finance, banking, so bankers. So single ladies, the bankers are in Luxembourg. And can I tell you, the houses are amazing. Really, really nice, beautiful houses, beautiful immaculate gardens. The streets are so clean. Wow, the cars are all ultra new, a lot of electric cars. Not a fan of electric cars personally, unless you have fully solar. If you're fully solar, go for it, have an electric car. But if you're, trying to get it off the grid, then you might as well just use petrol. Anyway, that's another story. Hey, Paul. Yes, it seems to be me and you having a chat every morning for breakfast. It must be like 5 o'clock in the afternoon for you guys in Australia. So making use of my breakfast again. So that $30 euro that I spent at the supermarket worked out really well. I'm going to tell you about my day yesterday while I munch on my food. So yeah, Luxembourg is quite a wealthy country. It is only a small country. It is the size of, I Googled this and now I can't read my notes because it's on my phone. It's the size of a state in America. What state was it? I don't know, I can't remember. But yeah, Luxembourg is not a huge country. Nowhere near as big as France. Belgium's quite small too as a country, so it's even smaller than Belgium. So easily accessible because it's kind of like, as I said, it's in the middle, it's next to Belgium, or it's in between Belgium, Germany and France, so kind of landlocked. But, so trains come all through it. So I'm sure I probably passed through it on a train, but never stopped. As I said, 25 years ago, backpacking, I knew that Luxembourg was an expensive place, so I didn't stop. So I tended to go to other countries. So yesterday, what is my Luxembourg diary, chapter 4 about? So let's start with chapter 1 was arriving here, the highs and lows of travel. Chapter 2 was my breakfast haul, where I was talking to Paul and Karen from New Zealand, and just, talking generally about, my supermarket haul and just a bit of chatter. And chapter 3 of my Luxembourg, and I have it as a playlist. Chapter 3, it's very organized of me. Chapter 3 is, oh my God, yesterday. A tour I did, a touristy thing I did. But I'm going to go with the start of my day. So I had breakfast. Excellent. We all have breakfast. And then took off. Now, look, I took off late. I only took off at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon because I only got to my hotel at 4 a.m. in the morning and had to have a sleep. Then got up and then, waddled around and had my breakfast, which I'm about to have some more of. And then, so I'm not very far from the centre of Luxembourg. I walked it in 10, 15 minutes. Probably took me 20 minutes because I stopped and looked at every house. So, literally, it's just one street out, kind of around. And it probably took me a while because there were so many beautiful houses, like what do they call the little towers on the top of the houses? Not houses, like on castles. Oh my gosh. They're like, not chimneys, but like towers kind of thing. There's a special word for it. It hasn't come to me, but anyway. But a lot of the houses have these it looks like a castle, but it's just a house. And okay, they don't have a lot of room. Okay, so I come from Australia. I'm very, very lucky. I have a front yard, a backyard, and sides, right? I have chickens running around my backyard. But we only have a 500 square metre block. Not overly huge, but in the scale of Europe, where, there's a lot of people packed on land, they don't have sides. They only have a little front section. And, let alone having, probably don't even have a backyard. So it's pretty much all house, and they're up. So most of the houses I'm walking past have 3 stories. Some are higher. And then they have these little tower things on top of them. Some have towers. So beautiful houses. And they're all quite newish too. Some of them are older, but just very, very beautiful. I actually think it's kind of ultra modern, but with an old kind of style. Everyone's yards have beautiful flowers, lots of roses, just very, very beautifully, manicured. Yep, very, very manicured. Most people don't have garages, but there's lots of cars on the street. You've got to pay for parking on the street. Lots of electric cars I was telling you about. Lots of really small little cars, because obviously, there's not a lot of parking here, so small cars are probably really popular. Oh, that's why they're popular. I walked past it looked like some kind of tourist place to see, because it was kind of an old building, and I was and there was signs on it, and again, it's in French or German or something. The front door was open, to the foyer, and I opened the door, and I could see there was some a welcome book, and people were writing thanks ambassador, you rock, and stuff like that. So I'm is this the ambassador's house or something? But I couldn't get in any further, and there was no one around. But on the front, it said, I don't remember the date, but the Americans came and rescued Luxembourg and its people from the war in World War I. So I'm guessing from the Germans, obviously. Occupation. So there's a picture, some pictures and some kind of tributes to that for the Americans. So that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. So kept on walking. Beautiful, lots and lots of parklands. And then I could see just crossing over, I could see the main town, and from my Google Maps, that was where the main town was. Massive big flags with a Luxembourg flag, naturally. They've got this, instead of windmill, instead of a Ferris wheel, most places have Ferris wheel these days, even Brisbane has a Ferris wheel. They have, basically you just kind of go up in the capsules, but just up and down. It's only a 6-minute ride. It was €6. I didn't do it. I think I might do it today. I don't know, might. Depends on the weather. It's actually raining now outside. Not spitting, I'm going to go spitting. So I'm glad I did bring a raincoat and an umbrella. I never bring an umbrella, but I did bring one. So that might be handy today. And yeah, so you can go up this thing And around it, down the bottom, is like, they've got makeshift bars, so everyone's drinking like cocktails. They sell crepes. That's one thing I want to do today. I want to have a crepe. Nutella crepe was about €6. Love Nutella. Yeah, so everyone's drinking coffee, mainly alcohol. And yeah, so anyway, the view in front is down, like looking down at a gully, yes, and there's just a beautiful parkland. A fold-up umbrella is a must item. Yeah, I know, but I've never actually, to be honest, this is the first time I've actually travelled with one. And yeah, so yes, it probably will come in handy today. And I did it, it's quite a little one too. So yeah, amazing view, beautiful polished gardens. Oh my God, like very manicured gardens, and just the flowers. They're kind of like making a flag. You couldn't get down there, but it looked like it was like the Luxembourg flag, but made with flowers and had a greenery and stuff. It looked really good, really good. So very, very picturesque. So when I walked over on this bridge, and when you come back over and you're looking back at it, it's a beautiful archway. So it's apparently one of the things to see in Luxembourg. I kind of Googled 10 things to see after I did all the things, walked around, and that was one of the things I did, so that was good. So very, very picturesque here. There was a toilet too. You walk downstairs. There's a toilet. I'm so surprised, right? Again, free, clean. They have someone stationed there to clean it. But at the front of the toilet, so left or right for men, there is a machine where you can just pick up condoms, pads, or tampons. Free. It's not a vending machine, it's just literally in a vending machine that just drops out. They're just sitting there, so if you want the condoms, pick them up. So I was just like, wow, okay. So that was interesting. Again, I'm all about toilets, okay? So it's nice to be able to know that you can drink water and go to the toilet. That's something I'm always about. I love to drink water, but in Lyon, I did limit my water intake because there wasn't many toilets. So Luxembourg, that's a good tick for me. And so when I went down to the toilets, there was this like tunnel kind of cave-like thing, and people were taking photos. I was like, oh, there must be something down there. So I had a little look, and you couldn't get through, like you have to have a special card. But what I was reading is there's a whole there's a whole underground tunnel system under Luxembourg. Again, probably, or most likely from World War One and the war, maybe World War Two, from basically, yeah, to hide, I guess, and to get around. So it was actually, I think it was like 20 something euro to do it. I kind of poo-pooed it at the time, went, yeah, no. But now that I'm thinking about it, it might actually be really interesting. I tend not to do the paid things as much. I mean, I do a few of them, but I don't do them all because obviously that costs a lot of money. And when you can just walk around. But also you can't see the underground tunnels when you're walking around. So that might actually be interesting. So I might do that today, might not. And considering it's raining, maybe it's a good thing to do. Maybe. So that is one of the good big attractions, is to go to the underground. So anyway, I chose not to do that. Walked across the road. There was the church. So it's the Church of Notre Dame. So it's interesting. There's a Notre Dame in Paris that burnt down, and they're renovating that. So I'm actually really interested to see that when I go to Paris in a couple of days. But I also went to the Notre Dame Cathedral Basilica in Lyon. So, and then here we are in Luxembourg, and they have a Notre Dame church too. So that's very interesting. So anyway, when I was walking in, the facade was really, really pretty. Not as obviously beautiful as the Notre Dame in Paris or the one that I saw in Lyon, but again, nice. It's made out of cement. I was going to take a photo, but there was a lady in front of it begging for money, so I didn't obviously take a photo. So I went in, and they have a foyer section, so I guess, to get away from the weather, and then you can go into the church. Very quiet, very beautiful, just like churches are. So I sat there for a little bit, and I always sit there and, just kind of say how grateful I am. That's my kind of like my prayer. And yeah, just looked around, and then they actually have a crate downstairs, so that you can go downstairs, and then I guess that's where some of the past ministers, what do they call them? Ministers, popes, not my popes, are buried. There's actually, at the back of the church, there was a closed off section, but you could look into it. And it was really, really beautiful. And I was like, wowzers, this is like a tomb, and it's closed off though. So I'm thinking to myself, is that one of the main church leaders? Or, that's really interesting. But anyway, when I walked outside, I read on the wall, there's a particular family, and I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but that's their family tomb. So obviously there's a main family back in the day that ruled Belgium. Oh my God, Luxembourg. I'm in Luxembourg. So that is their tomb, their family tomb, and you obviously can't go into that. So anyway, that was interesting. So came outside. There's quite a few. I wouldn't say there's lots and lots of people. There are a few people around, but not overly, like crazy. Like for example, I remember 25 years ago I was in the La Rambla in Barcelona, and it's packed. That's the main avenue in Barcelona, and there's just people to people to people, so many people. So Luxembourg, not like that. Tourists, a lot of Asian tourists. So it might be very, very popular for Asian countries. I mean, they must be bringing them here, so that's great. And that could also be because they can afford it. Just saying, because it is quite expensive. So another thing I picked up on, when you walk past hotels, they have their prices out the front. So that was interesting. I made a call on my walk. So I paid for tonight. No, I paid for last night when I was in France. So I paid for 2 nights, and the plan was to check out at 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, like soon, and then go to another place, like a backpacker hostel or a cheaper hotel. Now, I've only found a couple of backpacker hostels. Paul's got here, laugh, busloads of Asians everywhere. Yeah, yeah, they can afford it. They seem to be the only ones that can afford to travel. So I was planning to move to a backpackers, but I was kind of thinking to myself, right, okay, so you only have limited time, Dora. I know you want to save money because that's all, that's you're always going around your head. But at the same time, you've got to be careful. Like, you can save money, right? So like a backpacker hostel, I looked it up, it was going to be 60 Australian dollars, okay? And it is, and I went past it yesterday, it's probably walk-wise, probably about 30 minutes walk, which is probably not that far, to be honest. No, maybe it's actually, no, it's probably longer than that. It's probably an hour, okay? And then maybe I could get there on bus because the transport system's free here. Today I want to catch all the, free public transport. I'm going to do the plane, trains and automobiles. Not planes, but you know what I'm saying. But I decided on my walk, because I actually asked the hotel downstairs, I said, can I stay another night? And they said, you can, but you got to come back to us really quickly because we're filling up really quickly. I said, okay, cool. And I said, okay, what time do I need to call you back? They said 6 o'clock. I said, okay, I will ring you back in 4 hours with a yes or no. So anyway, I'm thinking along the way, and I'm like Googling where the backpacker hostel is. And I'm like, okay, $60, I could stay at the youth hostel, but it's probably gonna take me an hour. So that means in the morning, I have to pack all my stuff up like right now. And I'll just show you. Oh, I couldn't put this. It's too hard to show, but you're connected to a battery pack. But I've got shit everywhere, okay? Literally, I've got food in the fridge. I've got, stuff everywhere. So it would mean, and I was thinking ahead going, I have to pack everything up. It's nice to sit down and have this kind of breakfast time and update my Luxembourg diaries. Because as I said, I don't do this specifically for anyone to watch in general. I mean, if you're watching, excellent. So Paul, appreciate you sitting around and having a chat with me. But I do this really just for my own online diary, because I have a journal that I take when I travel, but to sit down and actually update it, I just forget to do because you're just so busy seeing things. Man, the tea goes cold really fast. So I'm just going to turn on the kettle, and you won't be able to hear me very well, so that's okay. So maybe I can show you my mess, because, you know, it's all part of the journey, isn't it? So got all my stuff there. Stuff. It's amazing that all my stuff fits in the backpack. Crazy. Stuff. The fridge. I pulled out some of the beer and stuff because I just didn't want to fit it in there. My stuff in there. What's going on out here? What is going on, Luxembourg? What is going on? It's raining. It's pouring. No, it's not. You know, that's very doable. There's a lady walking with a umbrella. So, yeah, I can deal with that. Plane. So, yeah, it's raining a little bit, but, you know, that's doable. No, it's not that bad. Though, I will say I didn't bring a lot of kind of cooler clothes. Like, I came straight pretty much from Solomon Islands where it was nice and warm. That's why I've kind of got a bit of a glow happening in my face, because I saw a bit of sun on that holiday. And, you know, when you're packing, I hate packing. And I did pack summery clothes because it's coming into summer. It's spring here. And I did do a bit of a quick Google search, and it said it was quite warm here. So I just wanted to show you, I don't know if I showed yesterday, I was washing my clothes. So I literally washed my clothes, so they're all nice and warm on the central heating. So at least I've got some clean clothes. Another one there. Okay, it's done. So like I said, I've got crap everywhere. So really, I just thought, you know what? Yes, I'll save probably $60 to stay in a backpacker hostel, but then I'm moving for one night, so I'm better off just staying here. So I just rang the guy and said, yep, I'm staying here. He goes, thank you. Merci beaucoup. So yeah, so then I didn't have to worry about moving again. So on my walk also, because you've also got to be thinking ahead. Like, I'm here till next Monday, and so I fly out of Paris, but you know, here I am in Luxembourg, you know, but at the same time I've got to think about a little bit of ahead of time of what I'm doing. So what am I doing? God knows. So on my little walk while I'm gargaing about houses and, you know, looking people's windows and thinking, you know, wow, like, who lives in these houses? What do you do for a living? Who are you? Yeah, basically what you do for a living. How do you have a house like this? How do you live in Luxembourg? Who are you? How do you live? So yeah, so it's kind of interesting. But while I was walking, I'm thinking, okay, what am I doing? Because I've got 2 nights that I'm staying at in Paris, just outside of Paris. Still Paris, but Paris is massive, right? I'm staying at Adriana, my friend, I'm staying at her sister's house in Paris. I'm going to stay there on Saturday and Sunday night. I'm only allowed to stay 2 nights. Okay, this is funny. So I don't know Adriana's sister. I only met her at the wedding. But before I even came on this holiday, like literally a couple of days before, she said, oh, if you're going to stay in Paris, my sister said you can stay there for only 1 or 2 nights to help you out. I said, oh, okay. I said, that's okay, you know, like I wasn't planning on that. And I kind of thought, what do you mean by like 1 or 2 nights? She said, oh, because, you know, she's really busy. She's got, it's holidays, because I think this Friday is a holiday in France. I don't know what the holiday is, but I will Google that. Actually, Paul, can you Google for me what the public holiday in France is on Friday? It's probably Bastille Day. Actually, I think it is Bastille Day. That's like an Independence Day. And it could be crazily busy. Actually, I'd like to see Bastille Day. Anyway, keeping on going. So she was kind of saying to me, look, my sister's very particular. I said, look, I just want a room to stay. I don't particularly need anyone to look after me. I said, I don't need babysitting. But she's like, oh, you know, you can only stay there 2 days because, you know, she's busy with the kids. The kids will be home for like, you know, all weekend plus that public holiday. So I kind of at the same time feel a little bit like, oh, do I really want to stay there? But she's actually 20 minutes by public transport to the airport. So it would make sense to stay on a Sunday night. So maybe I only stay Sunday night. But I guess this is my theory. I'm going to probably I'm staying tonight in Luxembourg. So that's, Wednesday night. And then tomorrow I Googled, I can actually get the fast train or a bus to Paris. So it's either fast train, which is 2 hours for $150 to about $200 or $300, go first class. If you catch the bus, it takes 5 hours or 7 hours. And it costs you maybe $100. I think the 7-hour one costs about $50. So I've got to factor that in. So tomorrow's going to be my travel day. I probably learnt my lesson. I'm not going to probably do it at night time, though I did Google to see if there was an overnight one, so I don't learn my lessons. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch my first video on my Luxembourg diaries, chapter 1. It will tell you about the disaster of arriving in Luxembourg. What is that day? The 29th of May is Assertion Day. What is Assertion Day? No idea. Can you tell me what it is, Paul, what that day is? And is it, yeah, so obviously everything will be closed on Friday. So if I get there Thursday, well, that's the plan, to get to Paris Thursday and have Thursday night, naturally. So Friday will be a public holiday. Some things will be open, I guess. But I plan to just walk around. That's what I love about Paris. It's so big and I love walking, so I just want to walk around. And then I've got Saturday, and then I have to get my stuff from on Saturday to outside of Paris, right? Or the outskirts of Paris, and then come back to Paris to walk around. So this is my thing, like, you know, the time that it takes to take your bags, because like I've got a back, like you saw my mess. I'm not carrying that around like with me while I sightsee. Like it's heavy, like. Yeah, so yeah, I don't want to be sightseeing with my bag. The other option is that a lot of places you can put your bag in a locker. So that's another option too that I probably will look at. The Rise of Christ. Oh, okay. So this Friday, the 29th of May, is Assertion Day, which is the Rise of Christ Day. They have a day of that. Okay, cool, interesting. So maybe everyone goes to church. Interesting. Okay. So I've already been to a church service in France, in Lyon. I happened to be walking past the local church and I went to a church service. I caught the end of it. That was all right. I'm not overly religious. I just thought it'd be nice to see, you know, what church is like in another country. So I did that in Samoa and I did that in France. So I was looking to see where there was a church service in Luxembourg. I won't be here on a Sunday though, but I couldn't find anything. So anyway, that's my bit of my predicament about what I'm going to do in Paris, because I want to stay a couple of nights in Paris myself, downtown. I looked at some backpacker hostels, about $60, $70, so that's not bad. But yeah, about where to leave my stuff. I mean, you can leave it at the backpackers. That's another thing too. So you can leave it at the backpackers. So that's probably what I'll do. But more about, so basically that's what I was kind of in my headspace when I was walking along, looking at all the houses, la-di-da. Anyway, so you walk along this bridge, you see the amazing big, massive flag with a Luxembourg flag. And instead of wheel of terror. No, the wheel, the Ferris wheel. They have just a straight up and down one. So went to the church and then started walking through like cobblestone streets. So like it's old streets and very modern shops. You know, I was walking past, you know, like some of the branded, you know, just brand name places, and lots of, you know, food cafes and restaurants. So food wise, I did look at some of the food. So yeah, like most meals, we're looking at like €20 for like a lunch meal. So hence why I was carrying in my backpack a baguette and a bottle of wine and a cup. So I walked all the street around the cobblestone streets, just again, no plan. I wasn't looking at Google Maps. I'm just looking around, like there's a lot of old buildings, a lot of squares, and there's like tables and chairs outside. Very, you know, typical for Europe. The weather was kind of quite nice. It's a bit coolish, so I was wearing a jacket the whole day and didn't take the jacket off once. But it didn't rain. And there's a lot of random, probably they're not random though, they've got lots of pianos just sitting there that anyone can play. So I have seen this on TV before, I mean, like on YouTube or wherever, that, you know, people can just go and play the piano. So I saw this guy, he was playing, well actually I didn't see him, I heard the music first, and I was like, I know that song. He was playing an Ed Sheeran song and he was really good. And then in front of him playing the Ed Sheeran song, there was two girls dancing, and that was really nice. So dancing together. I was kind of having a moment going, I should do a dancing with Dora. Wouldn't that be cool? So that's probably something I'll do today. So, you know, ordinarily, you know, what I do in Australia is I put my phone down against my bottle of water as my tripod, and I'll do a jumping for joy or a dance or just something, right? And, you know, generally when you are traveling, you probably don't do that so much because there is a lot of people around. They'll just quickly pick up your phone and run away, right? Unfortunately, you know, you've got to think about that. But being in Luxembourg, I'd actually feel quite safe, and I did it a few times yesterday. I mean, there's a few people around, but you know, you're watching, right? You're watching your phone. You're not just putting it down and just running away and going, yeah, it's me, yeah, and then running back to it. I am thinking about where I put stuff down, but I think I felt really safe. Like, yes, there's a few people around homeless, sadly, but generally I really felt safe. I've got to be honest, and I would quite easily put my phone down and do a jumping for joy or a dance. So that could be on the agenda today. So I've got to stop eating the blueberries because I want to have some of them for breakfast tomorrow. As I said, I'm a bit of a food monster. Ugh. I don't know what I ate. Some hair. Hopefully it was my hair. Yeah, so anyway, walking the streets. Again, I came to this trip very ill prepared. I came for a wedding in Lyon, literally 2 days after I came back from Samoa. So I did not Google what to do in Lyon. I did not Google what to do in Luxembourg, okay? I purely just am walking the streets. So I'm just walking this way, and then literally I could see kind of onto the left of me a really cute little cobblestone street, and there were smaller little streets. And you know how it's very kind of typical for, I saw this in Austria, where they have kind of like steel little signs, little, you know, written on there what's they're selling kind of thing. And so in the street, in many streets in Salzburg in Austria, they have, you know, these little cute little streets, and then they have all these little signs going down. It just looks really pretty, so it's very picturesque. So that kind of caught my attention. So I walked down there, and then I walked in. I could smell first like urine, and so I was like, yuck. But then I got past that, and I looked into this little kind of walkway, and it was an old restaurant, and it wasn't open anymore. And then there were some stairs, and I could see like spiraling staircases going around the top. And like, I like to take photos of like, you know, unusual, I'm not good at it. I just like to take photos, right? So I just thought that'd be really cool. So like I'm holding my nose a little bit because it did stink. So obviously this thorough way is not used that often. It's probably used for peeing. Excellent, guys. So I walked under this and it was really, really cute. And there was kind of some like cages and like very like olden time, like medieval. It was very medieval, okay, put it this way. It was very medieval. Without showing you photos, I can't really explain very well, but it's very medieval. I walked up the stairs. You can see this really cool staircase. And then when I got upstairs, it's actually closed off because it's kind of falling down. So, but that was cool. And it was just really picturesque. But what it was just like a little stairway through, like passageway, and then you kind of went out to the other side of the street. But it was just really cute. I thought, wow, not touristy. Actually, no, it might be touristy because it did have a sign. I took a photo of the sign, can't remember the name of it. I'll look it up later. So one day these vlogs will come out and you'll see this cool medieval walkway and I'll tell you with a like a voiceover about what it is. I'm sure it's probably some special passage, okay? But anyway, so I'm walking. I walk into, I see a church. It doesn't look so amazing outside, but it's St. Michael's Church. It's the oldest church in Luxembourg, so that was really cool to see. So it was pretty. Walked outside of that. Anyway, then I see a food truck and I'm like, oh, cool, food truck. Not that I was thinking about food at this stage, thinking I probably should stop and have my baguette. So I'm just having a look at the food truck, and it wasn't a food truck. It was a tourist, like where you buy your tickets. So it's always good. This is a major tip of mine, is to always look at the tourist information stuff. Like if there's tours being sold, have a look what they're selling, because that's generally going to be somewhere that you want to go see. You might not do the tour, but you could do it yourself and walk or ride your bike, because that seems to be a really popular thing to do here too. That's nice and hot then. So anyway, having a little look, having a bit of a chat to the guy, and they're selling train tickets, like this little cute little train, like a Thomas the Tank Engine train. Maybe not like Thomas the Tank Engine, but like really cute. And it goes to the Old Town. I'm like, Old Town? So I'm literally, like I said, I didn't Google anything about Luxembourg. And I'm like, Old Town? There's an Old Town? I just thought I'd walk through the Old Town, right? And I'm looking at the pictures and I'm like, holy shit. There's like an Old Town in front of me down below there that I can't see yet, because it's kind of like up high and then down is apparently this Old Town. So I'm thinking I just walked through the Old Town, and like I was pretty spellbound thinking, wow. But I'm just about to look, there's an extra Old Town that's even more special, and it's UNESCO heritage listed. So I'm like, shit. So I'm like, okay. And so the train, he said to me, the last train goes at 5:30, goes for about 45 minutes, and it's €14.50. I'm like, okay, cool, thank you. But I was more interested in like, let's go look at this view, right? So I walk behind the food trucky thing, and shit me. Oh, I cannot tell you how beautiful this is. I mean, I feel very, very privileged that I have seen some really cool things, but I don't know if it's that I'm just seeing Europe in a different light because I'm a little bit older than I was 25 years ago, or if I'm just absolutely knocked down and spellbound by what I just saw yesterday afternoon, okay? So I'm looking over, there's like a railing, massive railings, massive walkways. You see massive big cliffs, but they're not, they're walls, they're city walls. So there's this city wall underneath here, and it's massive. Okay, how big is it? I'm not really good with like how big things are. It's big, okay? So you're looking down and there's like picturesque little rivers and bridges, there's towers. So I'm talking full on medieval village, walled city. Huge, right? Huge. And I'm like, I'm gonna swear, it was fucking amazing. I'm just like an Asian fucking tourist, click, 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 taking photos, videos. It is blew me away. So I'm like in the middle of going, right, do I quickly run down there because I want to go downstairs and like down into the village, I need to eat, or do I do this train thing? Because it looks amazing. And like, this is another thing, like when you are traveling, I don't have a Lonely Planet with me. I normally have a Lonely Planet. I love Lonely Planets. They just give you so much information, right? I know you can use your phone and Google stuff, but it's just not the same, okay? And look, I picked up a map from old mate that was telling me about the city. Actually, I can show you. Yeah, here we go. Let's show you. This is what I was looking at. Can you see that? Tell me if you can see that, if it's kind of... So it's really beautiful, right? And okay, here's the walls. See that? So there's lots of like old walls, and these are where the cannons used to be. So you can actually walk into the cannons and see all that stuff. So honestly, I was like, wow, this place is immense. So I was like, okay, it's like 4 o'clock. Actually, it was probably 5 o'clock. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do that bloody touristy thing, and I'm going to get on the train and go down into the little village on the train, you know. But anyway, so I sat there first and had my baguette. So, Paul, you know how much... You saw me make my baguette yesterday, actually. It was very tasty. Really, really tasty. I ate the whole thing. I didn't think I was going to eat the whole thing. I ate the bloody whole thing. It was bloody amazing. So I sat there with my little Swiss Army knife and cut my tomato and put it all through. So I had different meats of salami and my cheese, and then I put my tomato in. Now, obviously, I'm just sitting there, like literally with the view in front of me on some grass and some dirt, and I had my bottle of wine. So I had this size little bottle of wine, which I'm using as a tripod. And I had these little cups that are in the bathroom. I thought, perfect. So I had that in my backpack. So I'm eating my baguette and I'm like, it's really not kosher to be drinking alcohol in public, right? I know that, okay? You know, but I'm also, you know, I'm in Luxembourg. It's a really pretty romantic view I'm sitting there with, you know, and I'm sitting there to myself romanticizing about my life. Like, how lucky am I? I'm eating this baguette that will paint book and paint something, but I was also mindful that I wanted to do the train thing, right? The last one is at 5:30, and I had half an hour to enjoy my baguette and, you know, possibly have a little cheeky wine. So I didn't, you know, sometimes you can't do you can't do everything. My personality is I try to do everything and then, you know, run late and then miss the train thing. So I was like, I could do the train thing today, but hey, look, it's raining now. So that's why I thought, just do the train thing. So I sat there. Now, I'm going to tell you, I did it. I mean, you know, it's probably, as like I said, it's not kosher to sit and drink alcohol in public, right? But drinking beer and stuff, but it wasn't around where I was. So I sat there, no one's kind of around me, behind me, pulled out the little bottle of wine, quickly poured it in there, chucked the bottle of wine back in my bag, and just sat there, very civilized, having my baguette with a cheeky wine. It was beautiful, can I say? I was just sitting there looking at that view. I mean, guys, that view, that's my view. That was my view, drinking some wine, having a baguette, living my best life. Didn't get arrested, okay? So then dragged myself away from drinking more. So I dragged myself away from my bottle of wine, really enjoyed my baguette, and I paid €14.50 for my little train. Now, I wonder if I can show you a picture of the train, because that'd be really cool if I could do that. They gave me this brochure. I didn't read the brochure, I just listened, and Okay, no pictures of the train. I think you know what a train is though, right? But it's not a train on the road. It's like a little car train thing with a few carriages. I was the only one on it. So I had that was the green train. Oh yeah, of course. Yes, you saw my last live is a green train, yes. Yes, so thanks Paul, you reminding me. But if you are watching this and you don't know what I'm talking about, my last live, Luxembourg chapter 3, is I actually took you on the ride with me. So yeah, it's actually a really good video. And that was another reason why I do this, because you can actually download lives. And so when you get home, you can download it and then you've got footage. So yeah, gosh, I don't know why it's suddenly really hot. Whew. Anyway, so yeah, so I was the only one on the train. So I took my position, pole position. I went at the start, but I thought, no, go at the back, That's cool. They give you earphones. So that was another reason why I did the tour, because they actually give you information. Like I said, you know, with a Lonely Planet, you can stop and look at stuff and read. A lot of these places, the information is in French, German, and English. Some places it's just in French or German. So, you know, sometimes you're walking past things and you don't know what they are, but you just think, wow, they're beautiful. And I take a photo of it and I never know what it was or, you know, if it was, you know, something important. But anyway, so that's what I thought. Let's do this tour. Take my money. €14.50, which is probably going to be about $22. I don't know the conversion completely off the top of my head. It's nearly double, I know that. The Australian dollar is so crap, but I don't think it's double, but it's nearly double. So it's probably probably closer to $25. But I thought it was really good. 45 minutes, got to drive around all the little villages, and yeah, I'm going to walk that today. So yeah, amazing. So that was what I did. But yeah, go watch the previous live if you want to know about that. But I just loved that. Absolutely loved it. By this time when I finished, it was starting to spit a little bit. Again, it's just spitting, so I didn't even bother pulling out my umbrella. But I was like, okay, I want to go down the bottom to take a picture of there was a little bridge, and the reflection in the water looked so pretty. And I was mindful that if I don't go down now, today, it could be raining and might not be very picturesque. But I didn't actually go downstairs. What did I decide to do? Oh, look, it was going to take me, I did start walking it. It was going to take me 20 minutes to get down. But I decided that by the time I get down, because I wanted to paint it too, I get down, paint it, that it's going to be way past 8 o'clock. And another thing I picked up on here in Luxembourg is the supermarkets close at 8 o'clock, which is pretty early. And the sun didn't set till it was still light till 10 o'clock last night. So people are out and about, but the supermarkets close at 8 o'clock. Again, I'm a backpacker, tight ass. So I wanted to go to a supermarket and get some food for dinner. Oh, look, I probably will go out for dinner tonight, to be honest. Apparently there is I like to try food. I'm a foodie. I think, Paul, you're a foodie too. I want to try like the national dish here, and there is a dish. It's pork, dried pork, I thought it was. Something to do with pork. So, probably like Germany, they love their pork. So I wouldn't mind trying that tonight. So stay tuned for that one. But I wanted to go to a supermarket. I wanted to get another bottle of wine actually. Because like, you know, when in Rome, you drink, right? I don't normally drink a lot of alcohol at home anymore. I used to be a little bit of a wine boozer, and I got quite fat, and I had high blood pressure. So go figure that if you stop drinking red wine, that your blood pressure gets better, and you know, start exercising and, you know, looking after yourself, your life gets a little bit better for yourself. So I generally I'm not a booze hound that much, though I was sitting in a park drinking wine. So anyway. Best to check the ingredients first. What of? Check the ingredients of what? The national dish or the wine? So anyway, the wine I've been drinking is French wine. I mean, look, Chateau, Merlot, Bordeaux, the meal. Oh, yeah. So I did Google it, and it was pork of some description. I just can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, so when in Rome, you drink, right? So when in France, and I'm kind of near France, they have lots of red wine. That's really amazing. So, and like really kind of cheap. That cost me €6. So it probably cost me about $15. So $15, think about that, $15 for a bottle of French wine. Ooh la la. So what I've got tonight left. Shit, I've got to drink that wine tonight. I could be drunk tonight. Okay, so I probably didn't think of that through. I probably should have had more wine last night. Or I could take it to France with me. Yeah, I just don't like to take alcohol traveling with me, because if it breaks, you're going to have a disaster in your backpack. So anyway, but yeah, tonight I'm going to try the national dish, or maybe at lunch, who knows. I've still got, cheese and salami, so I will, after this live, quickly go down and get a baguette and make myself a baguette, because I had my breakfast that I really didn't eat a huge lot of. But you know what? I'm going to save that, the rest of that yogurt for tomorrow. Good idea. Thank you for that tip. So yes, when in Rome, drink the wine. So I needed to get to the supermarket before 8 o'clock. So that was my theory. So while I started walking down, I walked back up and went, okay, where's a supermarket? So I'm walking back through the old town, which is not really the old town. It's just old in general to look at. There was a supermarket. I looked at like how much something to eat was. So like a poke bowl. I nearly vomited in my mouth. I couldn't see the price because I'm kind of nearly going blind, because we look at screens too much. We go blind. So I said to the guy, how much is this? And he said €12.50. You fucking me? It's a supermarket meal. It was a poke meal in it, but for €12.50. Okay, I'm doing the math. Like, even if that was $20, right? That's a lot of money, and it's not even a sit-down meal. It probably cost me $20 to go to Macca's. Oh, that's another thing I want to do. Oh my God, I'm going to have a busy day. And I've still got the next day too, half the day. I want to have a Macca's meal. This is so bad of me, but I think it's actually pretty cool to go to a country and have Macca's. So sad. I can't believe I'm even saying this. To go have Macca's in another country and document it and film it. I am a sad fucking human. Anyway, I did that in Samoa, and I regret, it's regrettable. It was fine, but it was very expensive. Between Diego and I, a burger, chips, and a drink cost us about $70. Like, what the? Why is Macca's so expensive? So anyway, back to me bitching now about supermarket food and a $12.50 poke meal. I was like, okay, that's expensive. So I was planning to buy it and then go for a walk, because there's a funicular, like the trains, that goes on an angle up a hill. There's a funicular here that I really want to go see. So I was going to go to the supermarket, get my food, and then go to the funicular and do a bit of walking. Like I said, it's dark at 10 o'clock at night, so plenty of time to walk around. That was my plan. But I was like, I'm not paying $12.50 for a poke bowl. I will go to my supermarket near my house, put it back in my room, and then go for an adventure, right? That was my plan. So pretty much I walked back to my house. I was trying to find a bus to take. I mean, I'm happy to walk, but again, in Luxembourg, public transport's free. So I'm like, want to try, buses and trains and all the things, because it's free, naturally. But I just, it didn't work out. I walked instead. But that really nice bridge, I might have a picture of it here. No. These are the underground caves and stuff that you can go into. Okay, is there a picture of this bridge? No, it's not a picture of the bridge. So anyway, the bridge, archway, brick, very long, very cool. When I was noticing that you can actually walk under the bridge. I was like, oh, that's cool. So anyway, I found that and I walked under the bridge. And from under the bridge, you get a view of the Notre Dame church. So you've got the valley, kind of wall, like the walls going down the rock face into the valley, and the church and the steeples and stuff. Oh, and the Luxembourg flag. So it's very picturesque. So that was a really good, like, amazing reason to walk under this walkway. And then you've got the picture of, like, it was framing with the archways of the bridge. Very, very cool. As I said, I'm not a photographer, but I try. No, not really, but I mean, it looked good. So that was good. And then I walked to the supermarket. I got there because I'm stuffing around looking at houses, and I saw this smallest little car. Oh my God, it was so small. Like one person could fit in it. Again, I was obsessed. There's lots of gardens, beautiful houses. Anyway, I get to the supermarket at 7:45, and there is crap loads of people there. So obviously all the locals come out just before the supermarket closes to get their food. And literally, I was there in 5 minutes and they started turning the lights off. You know how they turn the lights off to get you out? So I'm walking around in the dark, looking for a wine and something to eat. So I ended up getting a poke bowl for half the price. So it was smart. So it was €6.50. And it was really nice. It had tuna, rice, all the things, mango. It was really nice, actually. And then I dumped a whole lot of cheese in it. Anyway, so I bought my poke bowl. I think I spent €20. So yesterday I spent €50 on food and wine that I still haven't eaten most of it. So, is that value? Because I mean, I could have went to a restaurant. Actually, to be honest, if I went to a restaurant, I'm going to spend €50 on food, honestly. So I think I did well. So anyway, I decided not to go out after that. It kind of really feels the ambience in the air. Like, I mean, you're completely safe, but 8 o'clock came. I was the last person in the supermarket. They closed the door behind me and it opened up at 7:30 in the morning. But the ambience is really weird. Like, there's hardly anyone on the street. There's not many people around. Like, it's like everyone's gone already to bed or something. I don't know. It's really weird. And even the pubs, yesterday morning when I was walking to the supermarket to find somewhere to eat, I noticed there was a whole lot of pubs open. And it's like 10 o'clock in the morning, these pubs are open and there's outside bagging away. I was like, okay, righto, cool. So there is a little bit of an alcohol problem here. Everyone's at the pubs at 10 o'clock in the morning. And it was Monday. So I don't know, what's that about? Anyway, no judgment. So I was walking past the pubs because I really was curious and I thought maybe I'd go in for a beer because, it's nice to sit and have a beer and just watch the world go by, but there was no one going by. But there were a couple of pubs open, and I'm not racist, okay, but obviously there is a lot of immigration coming into Europe, okay? So, back in the day, you would think that France was, mostly white people. Obviously, that's changed now. There's a lot of immigration coming through, a lot of Africans, a lot of people from the Middle East. Oh, look, I actually like immigration, and I like immigration. I like multiculturalism. I think it's really good for countries. It's been very good for Australia. I know there is undertones of violence, especially in France at the moment. There's a high security alert because there's a lot of terrorism issues going on. But in Luxembourg, I was, again, quite surprised. I walked past the bars and there were mainly Middle Eastern guys out there fagging. And they were kind of looking me up and down. I was like, hey, how you going? No, I didn't. So I didn't really feel comfortable going in there. I thought I'm not really sitting there that's not my thing. But yeah, that's pretty much the bars that I walked past were the mostly Middle Eastern guys just sitting there outside fagging, pretty much. Hey, Funny Lines, how you going? So just talking about Luxembourg. So Anyway, yeah, as I said, it didn't hit the vibe to sit there and have a beer as a single girl, a solo girl by herself. I think I would have just, attracted attention that I didn't really need. So best to just keep on walking. Plus I had a bottle of wine that I didn't even end up drinking. So I've only drank my little carry-on one. So yeah, so anyway, I went back to my room and basically chilled, really. I had my poke bowl and chilled. So there, that was my day, one day in Luxembourg, which was only half a day, to be honest, and I did a lot of things. So not hating Luxembourg, really, really like it. Very nice vibe, feel very safe. And yeah, I'm going to turn this live off and I'm going to go buy myself a baguette, come back and make a sandwich, my baguette. I'm going to funnel some of my red wine into my other little red wine bottle and take my little travel cup with me. And yeah, I'm going to walk down to the old town and walk the streets myself with my umbrella. Hopefully it'll be dry enough that I can sit somewhere and do a little picture, like a painting, and take a million photos. Otherwise, what else am I going to do today? I don't know. Bring us with you. Well, I do bring you with you. I do bring you with me. If you have a look at a couple of my lives, I did take you on a train trip yesterday. And depending on the rain today, I might even take you on my picnic with you. Because that'd be cool. I'll do a live picnic. So I can have you can see me having my baguette and having my little cheeky wine and my paint. So I'm really excited to paint this little bridge and the reflection. I'm not very good, but again, I don't care. Do things that you're not really good at. It's, good for you. And show people how bad it looks because it's good for you too. So anyway, I think that's really what I'm going to do. I don't think there's anything I else really, to be honest, want to do other than, what time is it? What time is it over there? It is 9:30, so I really do need to get moving. So yeah, as I said, I've got another night here. I do need to book my train for tomorrow to get out of here. I'm going to book one about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so I've got tomorrow morning to stuff around in Luxembourg. And then I'm going to also book my backpackers accommodation in Paris for Thursday and Friday night. And then I need to contact my friend's sister to make sure it's still okay that I can stay there Saturday and Sunday at her house. And then that's me. I will be doing a couple more lives, I'd say, from Luxembourg, because honestly, it's a beautiful place and I really want to show you. And then I go to Paris and then I'll show you Paris. And yeah, and then I'll go home on Monday. So I will probably go home with a crap load of videos like I did from Samoa, and then hopefully that I will actually upload some videos. Uploading videos is easy, but the editing is the fun bit. Like, it just takes ages to edit. So Funny Lines, where are you if it's 3:32 a.m.? Must be America. I don't know, where are you then? America? I have no idea. Funny Lines, where are you? That's 3:32 a.m. I'm going to go America. Yes, okay, cool. What state in America are you in? Tampa. So Florida. Yes, Paul. Yes, I need to do that today. I was mindful of that, and I might actually, as soon as I get off this live, do that, because I'm mindful that the trains and the buses could also be full too. So I'm going to get onto that now. So anyway, I'm going to say au revoir. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks, Paul, for being around. Funny times. Hey, how you going? Nice to meet you. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see some more. For the rest of the people on the live, hi, thanks for watching. And yeah, I'll catch you. If you subscribe, you'll be able to see my next live, which will probably be a picnic where I paint this really cool little bridge, very quaint, in the old towns of Luxembourg. The old town of Luxembourg. So anyway, ciao for now. Bye.